Are you feeling as if you're maybe not getting everything you want out of your supplements? It could be not what's in the bottle, but what you're mixing it with. What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. As I mentioned in the open, if you are a supplement user and you're not getting the results from your supplements that you may have thought you should, it may not necessarily be what's coming out of the bottles, but it's what you're mixing it with. Now, guys, as I mentioned a few weeks back, I covered in depth my ATHLEAN-X supplements. I also tried to show you guys that the supplement industry can be a tricky one, to say it kindly. Now, this is not about pushing the ATHLEAN-X supplements on you. You are free to take anything that you feel works best for you. I'm the biggest advocate of telling guys to do what works for you. However, all I can do is tell you that the research and the science that went into the creation of these 3 supplements is what makes me as confident in wanting to recommend them to you, because I feel like they're going to give you the best that you can possibly get. That is why I make these videos. But the good thing about this video is it's not about what's actually in these bottles. It's about, again, what we're going to put them with. So as we covered here, guys, 3 supplements for me is what we're really sort of talking about in terms of categories. A pre-workout supplement, a post-workout supplement, and the one that most people seem to forget or overlook that I think is just as important as these 2 is our overnight recovery supplement. Overnight is when you repair muscle and repair and experience regrowth because of what you're putting into your body that sets the stage of recovery. 3 options for mixing, generally. We have milk, it can be non-fat or whole milk, juice, or water. So what I did was I figured, let me put together a little chart to show you each one of the supplement categories: pre-workout, post-workout, and overnight recovery, and then the things you can mix them with. So let's take a look at that chart. Alright, so on this chart here, guys, what you're going to see, again, like I said, down the side here, pre-workout, post-workout, and recovery. The mixers up here: water, juice, skim milk, whole milk. I know you guys, St. Patrick's Day, beer is not on this list, okay? These 4 categories. Now, when we're talking about pre-workout, for me, the clear choice is water. Why? Because we want to hydrate pre-workout. We want to make sure that we are not dehydrated at any point in the workout, especially if your pre-workout has caffeine in it. We want to make sure that we are providing adequate hydration. So we do have other options here for hydration, but if we move to the far end of the spectrum, milk is not going to be that great of a choice. Sure, you can do it, I said, but I don't know if you guys have mixed most pre-workout supplements with milk. They taste like crap. It's not really meant to be there. It should be more in a watery consistency. That's why I go with water. Whole milk, actually, it's a no-no. Why? Because when we add the fat in from whole milk, we're going to get a slow emptying of the pre-workout into your system. So that's going to actually delay the effects that you're trying to get from the supplement in the first place, and it's also going to interfere with blood flow to your muscles when you need that the most during your workout. So even if you're a hard gainer, whole milk, not the time for your pre-workout. As far as juice goes, you have to be careful here, because with juice, you can actually overload carbohydrates, actually interfere with the release of the carbohydrates to your muscles. Sort of the way we try to do with Excite is to stagger them, to give you the carbohydrates in both slow and then more rapidly digestible forms, so that you get a more sustained energy release. If you overload on your carbohydrates in your pre-workout, you can overload and overdo that, interfere with that effect, and also give yourself cramps or some gastric discomfort. So not what you're looking for, especially as you're heading out to competition. Moving on, we're going to go to the post-workout category, and I think this is the most interesting, because the one thing that everybody talks about is you got to load up on your carbs after your workout. And I actually disagree with that advice. When we're looking at our post-workout, we want to make sure we have one thing primarily, and that's protein. See, when we get finished working out, we actually have an increase in insulin sensitivity. Now, I'm not saying insulin levels, guys. I'm talking about insulin sensitivity, because there's 2 big differences there. Insulin levels, if you increase your insulin levels, which you're going to do if you actually overload on sugar after your workout, you're actually going to decrease your growth hormone secretion and IGF-1, which is another growth factor. That's something you don't want to do. And also, if you're a guy that's actually looking to burn some fat, if you take in your glucose or your high sugar carb after your workout, you're actually going to interfere with the normal fat oxidation that was going on after your workout. You actually turn that process off. So it's better to limit the amount of carbohydrates that you ingest after your workout if you're going to try to get the most muscle building and simultaneously fat burning efforts. So for me, we look at this category now, we say no, which is shocking to some, but we say no. We say no again to the fat in the whole milk because we don't want to delay the absorption again in this post-workout window, which leaves us with two options here. We have water or skim milk. I make two notes here, guys. Yes, if it's late within your post-workout window for water, or yes, if it's soon after for skim milk. Why is that? Skim milk actually can conglomerate or agglomerate with the whey protein in your post-workout. So that will actually slow down the digestion of your whey protein in the absorption. So if it's early in the post-workout window, so you just finished your workout and you want to get the best benefits of your whey protein, it's okay if it is slowed down a little bit with the mixing with the milk because you still have that window time frame to be able to absorb that. If it's late in the window, hour and 15 minutes after you've done work, you completed your workout, you might want to get that in a little bit sooner and benefit from the fast absorption of the whey. So in that case, I would probably mix it with water. Moving on, that final category that I mentioned before, overnight recovery. Now again, same four options, guys: water, juice, skim milk, and whole milk. This, ironically, is a point in time where your whole milk, especially if you're a hard gainer. Not if you're a guy that needs to be lean out and still, gain muscle but get to lean at the same time, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're looking to put on some muscle and you need to put on size because you're a hard gainer, this is the time when it works the best, because what the extra fat does is it actually does a couple things. Number one, it's going to slow the digestion again, which was the reason why we didn't use it earlier, overnight, so you're going to get a prolonged release of what you put in your body. So that helps. Now, the other thing it does is it actually has a protein sparing effect, so that we can preferably use the triglycerides in the fat for energy as preferred source of fuel as we're breaking down overnight, to allow the protein to be used more for synthesis and regrowth. So in that sense, it works. It's actually why in RX3 we include medium chain triglycerides for that very reason, to try to allow for those benefits. Now, if we look at the other options here, water is great, especially for a nighttime, if you're trying to lose weight again, if you're trying to stay lean, because it's non-caloric. But for me, I prefer skim milk because I like the added benefit. Here's a great tip too: if you're a guy that is taking a pure whey protein, which means you're not taking RX3, and that's totally fine. As I said before, RX3 has both casein protein and whey protein in it. If you're just taking a whey protein and you mix in that with milk, you're going to get the benefits of some casein as well, so you're getting a little bit of the benefit of the combined protein. And again, I like that dual 1-2 punch because you're getting the more immediate effects of whey protein, you're getting the more delayed effects from the casein protein. We don't really have to talk about juice too much here, guys. All that sugar prior to bed, when you don't need any of it, when you're going to be doing nothing but laying down, doing nothing but dreaming, you don't need all of that, and that's going to help you just to get fat. So what we don't want to do is have juice. But that's sort of our breakdown here of everything, guys, in terms of what you should be putting in your body and what you should be mixing it with. Alright guys, so there you have it. Hopefully a bit more clarity on the things that you should be mixing your supplements with. If you still have questions about what you actually should be taking though, guys, again, I recommend that you check out the ATHLEAN-RX supplements. As I said before, you can put in your body whatever it is that you feel is working best for you. But if you haven't tried the ATHLEAN-RX supplements yet, then I don't think you really have that answer. Guys, the ATHLEAN-RX supplements, as I said in here, we included the science behind the nutrition. Even the things that we mentioned in here, the importance for not going so carb heavy after our workouts. We have a low carb post-workout. The inclusion of fats at your nighttime recovery and why that's important, those are in here too. But it's all those things combined, guys, that I feel makes these as good as they possibly are. Again, I always say, it's everything that you need exactly when you need it, and that was what ATHLEAN-RX was supposed to be about. Creating everything just what you need and avoiding all the crap that you don't. Guys, if you haven't already, head over to ATHLEAN-X.com, go check out and join me on Team Athlean. And if you haven't already started the ATHLEAN-X supplement stack, guys, I encourage you to give it a shot. Because again, your choice, not me forcing it on you, just recommending what I feel is going to benefit you guys the most, as I do here each and every week. I'll be back here next week with another workout video. In the meantime, leave your comment below. Let me know if this little chart helps you in making your decision on what you should be mixing your supplements with. I'll see you guys back here in 7 days.